Greetings, my friends. Just a bit of Star Trek news I wanted to touch on here briefly this morning. This isn't breaking, but it did come out of San Diego Comic-Con yesterday, and I was inspired to do this video by my good friend, That Old Yorkshire Geek. I'll put a link to his channel because he did a story about this as well. But they are doing some new Star Trek things based on the original animated series for the 50th anniversary, and I'll be going over the article here by Trek Movie, but there is a specific reason I'm making this video, and I'll touch upon that a little bit later. Jonathan Frakes, Doug Jones, and Armin Shimmerman will be reprising their characters in new Star Trek The Animated Celebration shorts. And you can see here, this is going to be Riker, and then we'll come down a little bit. But in order to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the animated series, they're creating 5 all-new animated promotional spots in the style of the original series. And they're using Jonathan Frakes as Will Riker, which is no surprise because he's pretty much appeared and been consistently involved with Star Trek since he was in the Next Generation, so to have him here, that's pretty much a no-brainer. He's always involved. In fact, he's directing the next episode of Strange New Worlds with the Lower Decks crossover. Still curious to see how that plays out. We're having Doug Jones as Saru. That makes sense as well. He's probably the standout character from Star Trek Discovery, and especially the fact that he's got the alien makeup that could carry a nice animated feel as well, because you don't have to put him in the prosthetics, and he can still play that interesting version of an alien character, which is what the animated series did so well. It allowed them to portray vastly alien species that they couldn't do on the original series because of budgets and all those things. So it makes sense to want to do an alien character. And then we have Armin Shimmerman as Quark. Again, makes sense, doesn't have to put the prosthetics on. He recently reprised that role in Lower Decks as well. So it's nice to see these people are actually getting involved here. And if we come down, we do get to see here, we have how Saru will look. At least I'm assuming these are actual stills or just promotional images. And if you come down a little more, we get to see how Quark is going to look here. Casper Kelly is working on this and will also be releasing a comic book at IDW, which you know I'll be getting, so when I get that, I'll let you know how it goes as well. And come down a little more, we get this this interesting image here, which you have Captain Picard, you have Kirk with bullwinkle horns or tusks. Oh my god, I can't think of the word. What do the moose have? Antlers, I guess? And then you have Tendi, you have Uhura, you have Riker with a bomb from straight out of the old 66 Batman series. And I think that Catgirl is supposed to be Maress, but I'm not 100% sure. She looks a little different, but that's going to be what I'm assuming here. Okay, we're going to come down a little more now. Here's a nice colored image. Whoops, I went a little too far there. There you go, there's the colored image, and that's more in line with the original animated series, except it feels a little bit structured to pull in more of the live action and kind of merge that a bit with the animated series feel, because that was very cheaply made. It's very lovingly made, and it was well made, except for the fact that they did not allow Walter Koenig to voice Chekhov, but they did allow him to write an episode. So if you haven't seen the animated series, it's a bit dated by today's standards. Heck, it was probably dated by the 70s standards, but it's definitely worth a watch, and some of the episodes really do have a wonderful feel to them. I wouldn't say it's better than the original series, but it's definitely a worthy companion, especially if you haven't given it a shot yet. So they're saying there's 5 shorts. However, they're only announcing 3 of the characters, and they're announcing a TNG era character, they're announcing a DS9 era character, and they're announcing a Discovery era character. So does that mean there are 2 more spots that are not going to involve these characters that they haven't announced yet? I have to imagine there's going to be other characters involved, but are we going to see a Voyager era character? Are we going to see Enterprise? Because frankly, I want Enterprise to be involved here. It gets the shaft a lot of the time, even in some of the IDW crossover comics where they just had one a couple years ago with all of the original series up through Voyager coming together in a Q conflict type thing. Enterprise was left out. And I can't be certain here, but is that a rights issue? Do they not have the rights for Enterprise? Because there weren't really Enterprise comics to begin with. But I feel like maybe throw Phlox in there. Maybe a certain chief engineer, let's say Trip Tucker III, could be floating out in space on a life raft, possibly saying, I'm not dead, I'm still alive. Probably one person in the entire internet will get that reference. Maybe. I'll show an image if I can find it of what I'm referencing.
Hey guys, I'm okay. I'm okay.
This is good news. It's interesting to see them willing to go backwards and play with these more classic things. Obviously, they have Saru thrown in here as well, which makes me wonder how they're going to play up on that whole era. Are they going to introduce more Discovery characters? Obviously, this is probably just a fun thing, and they're not going to have to go out and reference any of the canonical issues, like nobody's supposed to know Discovery exists or whatever because of the whole, I don't know, skipping to the future thing, whatever. But the reason I really wanted to make this video, and I'm sure they don't need any help on my end here because it was well known, but I just wanted to touch on the fact that there are a couple videos out there that have already done this sort of thing. And perhaps they are actually using the people. Actually, I think it was mostly one person who worked on this. But there are two videos done in the style of the original animated series, which cover both the original Next Generation Best of Both Worlds episode and Voyager Threshold. And that is a fantastic channel. I'll show just a little bit here, and I'm also going to link it down below. But for the few of you out there who may not have seen these, it's from Gazelle Automations. They're fantastic, and I did just want to briefly, mention that they exist, because it's definitely something that's worthy of more people knowing about it. And the fact that they have 652,000 views on the Next Gen one, and it looks like 569,000 views on the Voyager one. There's nothing I'm going to be showing you here that you probably don't already know, but these are amazing. So I'll just throw in a couple of clips of these as well. Just wanted to give them a little bit of a signal boost. I'm hoping they're not being completely forgotten by the fact that Paramount is now kind of pushing forward their own animated series. And I'm sure this wasn't done for profit. It wasn't done for somebody trying to make a name for themselves in the industry, but it is something that exists, and it was so well done that I feel like I would be negligent not to point out this fact and just throw a little promotion to that while I'm here.
Borg vessel has reached warp 9. 9.4, 9.6.
Stay with him.
The mutations we observed are natural.
Natural.
The changes in his DNA are consistent with the evolutionary development of the human genotype observed over the past 4 million years.
Is evolving.
That's my theory.
Quick addendum, friends. I just discovered that Trek Core has a Neelix image, so apparently he will be the Voyager representation. Still doesn't address Enterprise, but I digress. That's all I have for today. What do you guys think of this? It's not the biggest news in the world, but it's actually something exciting, and it seems like something they're actually doing for the fans, and they're not necessarily doing just for themselves. Leave all your thoughts down below, like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, but until next time, computer end program.